Hey guys, we're doing another chill builds where I kind of build a deck in a very casual manner. It's not like my Yu-Gi-Oh videos or my Magic Arena videos, which is more energetic. This is more chill and calm. Today we're going to be building Jegantha, the Wellspring, who costs 4 and a red hybrid red-green for a legendary creature elemental elk. It has the companion, and its companion cost is that no card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol in its cost. So if a card has red, red, blue, it doesn't work. But if it has red, blue, green, it does work. Or all your deck is like 2 in a red. But the companion thing doesn't come up for what we're doing, because that doesn't really matter. What matters is that you can tap it to add one of each color. This mana cannot be spent to pay generic mana costs, so you can only pay spend colored mana with this. There's a million things you could do with Jegantha. It's kind of a be-all commander that can do multiple things, but what we're going to do with it is mutate. Because mutate things have large colored costs. It's usually like 1 red, green, black, blue or something. And we're going to be able to mutate on top of it, or on top of other things, and it helps by just tapping Jegantha to mutate some things. Because the thing that balances mutate and the thing that makes it not as good as it could be is the high mana cost. But there's a bunch of ways around it. So this deck is going to be a mix of mutate with all color matters. We're also going to have spells that cost 1 of each color that this card can cheat out. The mutate decks are hard to make. That's the problem with it, because there's so many mutate cards and there's so many great targets for mutate. I don't really want to explain how mutate works, but for those who don't know, a card with mutate, for example, let's go with what's the word? What's a mutate card? Is it Porcupine? That's not a good card, but we're going to use it as an example. Porcupine costs 3 in a red, but it has mutate 2 in a red. So if you pay 2 in a red, you can put it on top of a non-artifact, non-human creature. Apparently you can put on an artifact creature. I didn't know that. We're learning new things every day. You mutate on top of a non-human, and it becomes a copy of everything below it, while also having the abilities of the thing on top of it, if that makes sense. I hope I'm explaining that well. So for instance, if I Porcupine mutate on top of Jegantha, which isn't going to happen because you usually don't want to mutate onto Jegantha, Porcupine lets you tap and deal X damage to any target, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. Which in this case would be 1, because you mutate on top of it. But it would also have all of Jegantha's abilities, because Jegantha's under it, if that makes sense. So what we're going to do is focus on mutate with all color stuff. The way this deck happened to be, as I usually explain background on picking decks, a few years ago, on Amazon, I saw a listing for one of the random Ikoria Commander Precon, and I thought that would be fun, so I bought it, and they gave me a randomly selected one, and it was the mutate one. The problem with this was that someone that I played with in real life also had that Precon, and I was afraid that if I upgraded that Precon, it would be the same exact deck as theirs, which I didn't want, so I wanted to go a different direction with it. So I decided to go all color. And there wasn't many options, because a lot of all color cards happen to be humans or happen to not work, like Progenitus doesn't work with mutate. I'm thankful that I realized that and didn't buy that deck first. How we're going to start is simple. We're going to go to mutate first. Yeah, we're going to go with mutate, and then I'm going to try to take advantage of different silly things you can do with mutate, and I'm going to try to abuse mutate in any way I can. So we're going to look up every mutate card, and there's a decent chunk of them. There's not a ton, but we're going to go through all of them and figure out which ones we want to use and what we don't want to use. But first, I would normally do a mana base first, but in this case it's a 5-color deck, and it's hard to tell how to make a mana base for a 5-color deck without seeing the deck first. Because for all we know, we could put in a bunch of red mana things, and we don't have many red cards. So we're going to go with mutate stuff at least first. Let's start with Archipelago. Whenever it mutates, tap up to X target creatures, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. those creatures don't untap. I don't like this card, so I'm not going to go for it. I understand if you do, I'm just not into it. There's other ways to make mutate stuff unblockable, and that's the main draw of tapping things, because you're going to mutate this on your turn. So the main draw is going to be tapping so they can't block, to get rid of blockers. But there's already so many cards that are unblockable that you're going to mutate onto that it's not really a big deal. I think Auspicious Starix is good. Whenever you mutate, you kind of cascade, where you get the next spell in your deck, the next X permanents in your deck, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. This deck, just in my previous builds, has a lot of permanents and not a lot of instants or sorceries, so that shouldn't be a big deal. Normally I'm afraid of exiling my stuff, but I'm cool with it there because it's going to have such a low chance of exiling it forever. I'm okay with Boneyard Lurker, but I'm okay with cutting it. I'm going to put it in and then type out on WordPad that you're not going to be able to see Boneyard Lurker, because how I make decks is when a card I want to add that is only okay, or I'm kind of iffy on, I write down the name in a notepad thing so that I can take it out at the end without having to scroll through a bunch of things or figure things out again. Let's go with Brakos, Apex of Forever, Trample, and you can cast it from your graveyard with its mutate ability, which costs a lot, but mind you, when we tap our commander, it's only going to be 2 in a green, so that's pretty good. I don't like cards that force your opponent to discard. I mentioned this last time, but so I'm not going to run that, but I mean, if you want to, I understand it. It's a good card. I'm okay with Chittering Harvester. I'll go for it. I usually want to avoid the ones that just cost 1 colored mana, because that makes Jegantha not as good with them. But I mean, I'm still going to put a lot of 1 colored ones in it. I'm just going to not focus on those as much. Cloud Piercer I don't like because rummaging isn't the best in the world or anything. And I have access to better draw spells than this and draw engines because I'm an all color. So we'll skip that one. Cub Warden I like because I like the lifelink, I like the kitty tokens, and I like how it looks. It's just, I like its art, I like what it does, but liking its art is the most important thing. Dirgebat seems like a worse Chittering Harvester, but it has Flash, so I'm gonna go with I'm gonna run it for now, but Dirgebat's another one of those ones where I'm gonna rewrite it in Notepad, because it might be one of the ones I take out. I like Dreamtail Huron more than Cloud Piercer because I don't mind the lack of reach because of flying, and I feel like the extra power and toughness is not worth the having to discard. So I'm gonna go with Dreamtail Heron. That seems good. Essence Symbiote is something I didn't want to get into because I wanted to do Mutate Matters after, but Essence Symbiote is a really good card, so we'll go with that. Everquill Phoenix is good in other decks, but not this one. It doesn't have a ton to do with the deck itself. It's an okay card, but I mean, we're gonna. There's so much artifact removal. There's so much board wipes that it doesn't matter. And once it's in the graveyard and you don't have the sorry, once you don't have the feather token anymore, you can't really bring it back again, you know. So we're gonna go with that. Gem Razor is good removal. We need artifact and enchantment removal, and it being on a creature is really good, so we're going to keep that in. I remember really liking Glowstone Recluse, but I don't remember. Yeah, it gets 2 +1/+1 counters whenever it mutates, so we're going to put that in. This deck's going to have a lot of big creatures. It's going to have a lot of, like, you make 10 10s and 12 12s and 14 14s, because they keep getting bigger and keep getting +1/+1 counters. I'm okay with Huntmaster Liger, specifically because we do need low-cost mutate things, and this is only 3 mana to mutate. So we do need some low-cost mutate things, and he seems pretty okay, at least as a low-cost mutate thing. Illuna. This was one of the commanders I was thinking about changing the mutate deck to, but I've decided all color instead. Sorry, died a bit for a second there. Yeah, this is basically, I realized that this card is basically Discover, like it's whenever this creature mutates, Discover X until you exile a non-land permanent card and put it on the battlefield or into your hand. It's kind of weird. It just doesn't do instant sorceries, but again, we're not going to have a lot of those. Insatiable Hemorrhage Hemophage, not hemorrhage, I'm an idiot. We're gonna put it in. I always loved life stealing, and it's also a low cost, low cost mutate thing. So that's cool. Lord Dracus is going in because it brings back in its Cinder Sorcery, which looks bad because we're not gonna have a ton of those, but it's a cheap mutate target. It only costs 2 mana, and if we tap Jegantha, it's free. So we're going with that. Life gain isn't super important, so I'm gonna skip Majestic Oricorn for now and probably come back to it. So I'm gonna write that down again because it's not going in the deck, but it's still a thing we're gonna consider. Migratory Greathorn, yes, because it ramps us every time it mutates, which is good and better than you think. I remember having some kind of loop where, with this, where I would just get a bunch of lands and revive every turn. I don't remember the specifics of it. It was ages ago. Mind Leecher is one of the mutate cards I hate because if I remember correctly, let's see. Is there other versions? How do I? Yeah. This is one of the cards. All of the mutate cards have a comic book style alternate art, except for Mind Leecher, one other, and the face card of the commander deck. And I wish that we got the other versions of it. I like Mind Leecher, so I'm gonna go with it. Mysterious Egg is another Mutate Matters card, not a mutate card, but I'm gonna go for it because it's a cheap card and mutating onto it can make a pretty big monster in the end. Necropanther is just a good card. It revives something every time you mutate it. That's nice. This one can come in handy. You just gotta remember it has to be total power 10 or less, which can be tough, but there's a bunch of things. Like I could bring back 2 or 3 creatures with that sometimes. It's just pretty good. And again, if we tap Jegantha, it only costs 4 and a black, I think, because it adds green, white, and it just makes it 4 black, which isn't that bad. We're keeping Otrami. It's just a good card. It just brings back your mutate stuff whenever it deals combat damage, and it's trample, and it's 6/6, so it's really good. Parcel Beast. This one I don't like as much, but it's a cheap mutate card, so we'll put it in, and I'll write down Parcel Beast in Notepad. Polywog Symbiote. It just makes your things cost less to cast, so we're going with it. Pouncing Shore Shark, I'm not huge into. I'll add it for now and take it out if it becomes a problem, or if I get or if it's one of those issues where I have like a 108 card deck. It's gonna be one of the first things to take out. Regal Leosaur is cool because it's a cheap mutate card. Tusk Demolisher is basically 3 and a green for a 6/6 Trampler and a beast for him. So I'm gonna run that. It's really good. Sea Dasher Octopus is important for later. Snapdax, the apex of the hunt. Double Strike, whenever it mutates, it deals 4 damage to target creature, planeswalker, and you gain 4 life. The Double Strike is what's really good about this. Remember, Jegantha makes it just cost 2 and a white because it gets rid of a white and a red or black. So that's nice. Souvenir Snatcher is really good. I've had this card save my life multiple times. I like Trumpeting Gnar. Yeah. Apex of Thunder is another good revival card. And we'll go with Wolfie Key. So that's going to be our mutate package, at least for now. I know what you're thinking. Jira, you have 31 creatures in this stack, and you haven't even added the mutate targets yet. That's kind of on purpose. This deck doesn't run a lot of instants and sorceries, because a lot of the things you want instants or sorceries for are on mutate cards. If that makes sense. Like, the abilities. Like, there's one in here that's just a beast within. They make some sorceries, which is worse, but we're gonna have a few instants in here that help. So here's the fun part. We get to pick, next up we're gonna pick 5 color cards. Just go with black, red, and green. I think that's how it works. Are we gonna get all color cards? Yes, we are. So here's the fun part. We get to figure out which of these we want to abuse and use. This is really good to enchant on, mutate onto, excuse me, not enchant onto. So Chromanticore is cool because I can tap it, cast it for free, basically, and then use the mana I have from lands to mute onto it and give it Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and Lifelink. Conflux is a good card. I normally more budgety, but I already have a Conflux in real life, so I don't mind this. I don't think Garth won that because it's a human. We can't mutate onto it, and that actually really does matter. We don't really have any elementals. This would kill everything. Unless... I'm actually gonna check a ruling real quick. So unless I'm mistaken, it doesn't count as all colors. If I have a white-blue creature, mutate a black-red on top of it, and mutate a green on top of that, it counts as the color of the top card. So Iridian Maelstrom is not good for me. I can't read this card, so I'm legitimately going to print screen and flip this in Microsoft Paint. I hope this doesn't ruin the recording. Okay, you probably heard something. That was it, you know. Okay, when it enters the battlefield, exile cards on the top of your library until you exile a non-land cards. Till you exile 2 non-land cards with mana value 4 or less. You put one of those 2 cards without paying its mana cost, cast one of them without paying the mana cost, and the other into your hand. Then put the other exiled cards on the bottom of your library in any order. Okay. And what happens when it wins? When it's won? Or when the battle is defeated or whatever. It flips into sure, I'll go with Awaken the Maelstrom. That seems fun. I don't have a battle in any of my decks, I don't think. Unless I'm mistaken. No, I have one in my zombie deck. That doesn't matter because we're not going to have a ton of legendaries. I'll go with Maelstrom Nexus. I like Maelstrom Angel. Is there anything else that I should do? Meeting of the Five doesn't work the way I want it to. The Invincit Reborn isn't good enough because it's I don't like the way it plays because it's really confusing. Div Mizzet Supreme is probably cool because flying hexproof monocolored as a mutate thing, but I'm not going to go for it right now. Maybe later. This seems okay for flying and trample, but the other effect doesn't matter too much. Omnath. I don't want to deal with that kind of thing. This is cool because it just makes it cost 5, but I don't know if that's worth Vigilance Trample Lifelink. I'm not into it. But I can be pilled on it or whatever the kids say these days. Reaper King has nothing to do with what we're doing. Typal stuff doesn't matter here. I don't have any shrines. No. That's for slivers, that's for slivers. That's for slivers, that's for slivers. That's for slivers. No, because that's not what we want. That's for slivers. I already have the Kami War in my partner has it in the dragon deck, so I don't want to pay $5 for a card, or 3 for 1 card. I'm cheap, okay? No sagas, doesn't do anything. Too expensive. I'm up for that for 2 mana. Okay. Now here's the hard part. We're at 38, right? We have to figure out general good mutate targets. I'm trying to remember some good ones. There's Slippery Boggle. Oops. I didn't type that right. Let's go Slippery Boggle. That's a good one. Normally I try to do this off the cuff, but I'm thinking I'm going to go to EDH Rec and try to find some more, because there's probably a ton I'm missing. But I know of 2 things I want to explain. One of them is Oko, because, where is it? Oh, I didn't think about that. Advanced search, I'm going to look for Planeswalker. And let's type in Oko. I probably could have also typed in green-blue. This Oko. The part that matters is the 0, because until the end of turn, Oko the Trickster becomes a copy of target creature, prevent all damage to be dealt to him this turn. If you do that, and then mutate on top of it, weird things happen. you get a mutated planeswalker that's also a creature, and I still have to look into how that works, because I know there's weird rulings that don't make much sense intuitively, but, you know, that's how we do. There's other planeswalkers that become creatures, but I know that's the important one, because the +1's really good and the -7's really good. It's great, because I think, I could be wrong, if you make something a 10/10 and get trample, and then you mutate on top of it, does it keep it because that creature technically doesn't exist anymore? I don't know. Mutate has a bunch of weird, stupid rulings. Let's go back to the deck list. I'm gonna add in Brood of Cockroaches, because this also does something funny. It's only an old border, so I don't like it as much, but if it's put into the graveyard from play, I can pay 1 life to return it to the hand at the end of the turn. That's a fine card. What you probably don't realize is that if it's a mutate stack, when it goes to the graveyard, it's still 1 creature until it finishes dying, resolving, whatever. So you can pay 1 when Brood of Cockroaches dies, and bring back every card on the mutate stack that died with it. Which is really good. I don't know, I just really like it. There's other cards that I don't remember, so I'm gonna go to EDH real quick, and then check out other stuff that I'm missing. One moment, I need to be reminded of what I can do. Sorry about that. I now have a few ideas. I normally, again, like doing this on my own, well, for the video at least, but with Mutate there's a bunch of stupid stuff that I need. The first thing I want to talk about is, so I go to Advanced Search, and I think it's just called Ivy, right? I should be able to, even if I spelled it wrong, I should be able to go Gleeful Spell Thief? I don't know if Gleeful has 2 L's in it. Does it? Okay. I'm not putting her in because it gets out of hand. Because I don't know, it keeps going over and over again. And I remember it making really weird boards and being confusing and kind of unfun to deal with. So I'm not doing it. There's a few cards I do need to add though. First off is obviously Cold-Eyed Selkie. I don't know how I forgot about her. She's going in. Killian Ink Duelist is another one. Whenever Killian is targeted for spells that I can't talk today. Spells that target Killian. Where is it? Cost 1 less to cast. Spells you to cast a target creature cost 2 less to cast. It is a human, so you can't mutate on top of it, but I think it's still good. Next up is Joda, Archmage Eternal, because it makes all our spells cost 1 of each color, so it turns all of our spells to free, at least 1 a turn, with Jegantha. Of course, I was told to add Blink Dog. I forgot about that. I don't know how many creatures we're gonna go for as total. It's weird. There's a few others that are just randomly good. I don't remember what it's like. Phantom Nantuko, I think it's called, if I remember correctly. Yes, the thing about this is every time you mutate it, it counts as entering the battlefield. So every time you mutate on top of it, it gets 2 more +1/+1 counters. And because there's a lot of +1/+1 counters in here anyway, that's going to be really helpful. I don't know how many more I want to add. We're already at 40 creatures, which sounds like a lot, but again, our mutate cards count pretty much our equivalent of instances, or sorceries, of other decks' sorceries. I'm going to go with Silhana Ledgewalker, unless I already added that. I don't think so. She's just unblockable and has hexproof. Mostly unblockable. She can be blocked by flying creatures. She basically has flying and hexproof, but the flying is not negated by reach. So this is the hard part. We have around 20 slots left, so I'm going to add in staples that we need. So we do need protection, because this deck's protection is kind of icky. Like, we lose easily if we're I don't know the word. We lose if our big mutate stack is taken care of. So we're gonna add a counterspell and a negate. Isn't there something for called like Snakeskin Veil? Is that it? Yes, that's it. It gets it gives something hexproof until the end of the turn. We also need some ramp, so let's go with Growth Spiral. Whoops, Spiral. Because this deck it's a 5-color deck, of course it needs ramp. I'm trying not to do that many instants and sorceries, so I'm trying to pick the best ones. Obviously we have to go for staples, so I'm going to do that real quick while I think. So Soul Ring, Arcane Signet. I'm trying to remember the name of that one artifact that makes everything cost one of each color. It's called something. I'm just going to go to the Idiot Trick page real quick and find it. Is it any utility artifacts? Here it is, Fist of Suns. I found it. I already knew about that card, I just didn't remember the name of it. Fist of Suns, that's a good card. I do want to switch to printing because I don't know, when it's magic. When it's like a normal card, I guess. When it's a normal deck, I usually go for the regular art, or whatever, if that makes sense. Like this regular style of art, not like a secret lair or something. Because, I don't know, I just feel like it should all stay consistent, but I think I've talked about that last time. But I don't care if I repeat shit this time, because this is more of a calm background video as opposed to a more energetic kind of video. 41 creatures, so we're at 54. I usually do 35 to 40 lands. So that means when we get to 65 is where we stop, so we have room for like 12-ish more cards. I'm not sure. I need a draw spell, so what's a good draw spell for this? I'm gonna cheat and use EDH Trick, I guess. Oh yeah, I want to add Croaking Counterpart. I forgot about that, dude. Croaking Counterpart is good in Mutate. It's an enchantment, right? Yeah. Create a token that's a copy of a non-frog creature, except it's a 1/1 green frog. You can create a copy of something, of a mutate stack, and then mutate on top of it to make it bigger. So that's something that's really helpful. I'm trying to see what else we need. I like Inspired Ultimatum in here, sure. There's no shame in using EDH Rec. I just tried not to do it for videos. But again, like mutates are really confusing and difficult. Oops. Closing that. I had a problem with OBS earlier, and I needed that to fix it. The ultimatums are really cool. I'm gonna try not to run too many of them though, because we need other stuff to help with. I do need protection. I could use some removal, I guess. I'm gonna go with Keep Safe as a third option for a mutate protection thing, because that is a problem. We need to keep our mutate stack safe. Like that bird is, or like that person is for that bird, or that bird is for that person. I can't tell. We do need good mana rocks. Like we need some good fucking. Oh. How's our color base looking? Okay, so we have a lot of green and blue. Black and white are tied for the third most colors. So I'm gonna go for some help with... I wish there was an easy way I can search all the signets, because if I just type in signet, we're gonna get like a million cards that I don't want. I'll go with Azorius. And... this is tough. Azorius... and is it for now? We do kind of need more good stuff to... Let's go with Cultivate as another option to mutate onto, to search stuff. The thing that worries about me is we are getting kind of high on instants and sorceries, which is something that we don't want. We want more artifacts and enchantments. I'm gonna see if there's any more good enchantments that we missed, because there might be. Oh, I forgot about that. Vesuvian Diplomacy. That was a card that was recommended to me last time I made this, so... I hope I spelled it right. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a single artifact or creature, you create a token that's a copy of that artifact or creature, so it copies the Mutate stack, which is really good, obviously. Is there any other good, just general clone cards? There probably is, but I'm not worrying about that right now. I have 3 cards left before I get to my lands, so I'm trying not to worry about that much. What's good in here? I need more ideas. None in terms of enchantments. I don't want to look at lands right now. Any other good artifacts? I could use Swiftfoot Boots, but I'll go with the Swifty Boots. Sure, why not? Let's go with Swiftfoot Boots. That's a decent amount of cards. That's 7 artifacts. So, is there anything else that seems really good? I don't really want instant sorceries. Let's see what top creatures are. It's probably all, yeah, it's all mutate stuff. Okay, so let's see what cards are good that I have written down. I was told Miri the Cursed is another one. I have a list of cards that were recommended for me. That were recommended to me in general, because I talked about doing this to some friends, and they gave me some options. Miri the Cursed is really funny. It's funny, I'm gonna do it. And then we need one more card. Yeah, one more card to have 35 lands. Let's go with Spawn Wraith. Isn't that the thing where when it does damage, it makes a copy of it? Whoops. I think that should be good, right? Huh? Where'd it go? I added it, didn't I? Am I an idiot? Oh, there it is. I found it. Yeah, you make a copy of Spawn Wraith, so it makes a copy of the Mutate stack. Time for lands. Let's look at our final count. Green and blue are the most. Red is the least. So I think what I'm going to do is... Whoops, did I add? 2 force, add 1. Well, first, I'm going to add forests that I... Okay, we'll just go with this one, it's 1. I think that's 3. And then I'll add 1 of each color at least, obviously. The lands is going to be pretty hard, but I'm going to... Whoops, not plains. Let's add a plains. And then mountain is one we didn't do, so let's add mountain. That should be good. Okay, so I'm thinking 3 blue and green, 2 of the others. Maybe 4 blue and green, 2 of the others. I'm gonna try that first. Oops. That's 4. 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. We're gonna add 2 red, 2 black, and 2 white. That should be good. Is that a decent number of lands? That's 17. There's an okay amount of black. I don't want to add a 4th mountain. Or swamp, sorry. Now here's the fun part. Obviously we're going to do the staples, so command tower actually. And then exotic orchard. Okay, so that's nice. So, switching that to the other printing. Lands are hard for 5 color decks, man. I'm itchy. Alright, we're good. What else is there? What's the name of the, It's Crumbling Necropolis, but I don't remember the name of the rest of the cycle. I think it's Crumbling Necropolis. Yeah. So I'm gonna figure out the name of the rest of the cycle and add those. It's probably on EDHREC actually, so I'm just gonna, I was gonna Google it, but then Googling it is lame. Because this isn't lame. Oh, I forgot about Rogue's Passage. I don't know how I could forget about that, it's like kind of important. Also, I realized that this deck probably isn't the best, but I mean, I think it's fun. At least when I made it last time. Because, hold on, I have to clear my throat. We're good. Sorry about that, cut. I'm here for lands. I'm here for lands, nothing else. I probably do need an Evolving Wilds. I'm just gonna close this tab so I can't accidentally open it again, because I already know the answer to the question. Evolve. My V key is messed up. There we go. Evolving Wilds. I need to fix my fucking V key. Just doesn't work sometimes. Evolving Wilds. I don't need Evolving and Terramorphic, I think. I can't do the Triumphs, obviously, because they're like 20 bucks. Frontier by... I don't know how to spell that. I don't know how to say it, I know how to spell it. Frontier by Vok. So we're at 23. Oh, let's see if there's anything else cool. Let's try a Sandstep, a Jungle Citadel, actually. Is it Jungle Shrine? I think it is. Yeah, okay. Because we need as many ways to get to any color we want as possible. But the tri-land, whatever they're called, whatever these are called, slow tri-lands or something, they're difficult because they enter the battlefield tapped and they're kind of slow. So I also need to find like a Sunken Hollow works. But I need to figure out what colors are. See, that's the hard part. Is that... Does the low number mean I need more of it, or because it's harder to make? Or I think it means I need less of it, so I need the most green-blue. So I'm going to add a Simic Growth Chamber. So that should be good, a Simic Growth Chamber. And then... what's the green-blue version of Canopy Mist? I don't remember the name. Either way, I'm going to add a Canopy Vista, because we need more white production. I think. I did not know how many cards had Canopy in the name. That's news to me. Canopy Vista should be helpful. I'll change that later. I don't mind that I'm using EDHREC and cheating this time. I normally don't. But I feel like I've said that 100 times this video. I just want to make sure I don't get comments of like, you use EDHREC, that's cheating. When it's not. Path of Ancestry will help a lot because it taps for any color. Whoops, Path of Ancestry, there we go. Is there anything else in here that I should add? Because these are just good cards, I don't know. Good lands. Okay, what about where's utility lands? They're up here. Any utility lands that could be fun? I'd try Restless Spire, that seems fun. Turning it into a creature and then just attacking. Nah, I'm good. Oh, Restless Fortress also sounds fun. See, I wouldn't have found these cards if I didn't use EDHREC, because they're hard to search. Mutate is hard to not use EDHREC with, because there's so much, there's so many cards that you can use in a Mutate deck. So I'm gonna go with Great Hall. I'm at least doing it for the, lands. I didn't do it too much for I did most of the, actual deck itself by myself, outside of a few other cards. So I don't feel too bad. So this is the hard part because I'm out of things. I still have 5 slots left for lands. Is there a universe? Is there a world where I upgrade all the basics by 1? No, I don't think so. So what I need is Simic and then I'll go with Golgari Rot Farm is another one I'll add. Golgari Rot Farm should help. And we'll go with Demir Aqueduct, because black is our third most used color. What do you know, it turned out to be a green-blue-black deck. Mostly. And that's what the color of the precon was. For now. I'm gonna add up this. And then a island once this is done. Or a forest when this is done. And then a swamp. That should make it 100. With 35 lands. Okay. That's the deck building portion done. Now let's do some hand testing, I guess. Deal another hand and play test. Okay. Commander, everyone draws on the first turn. Let's start with Mountain Pass. And then this is tough. I'd have to pass there, I think. See, this is tough, I guess. Let's do black-green and then play an Essence Symbiote. Okay, and then I would play a Swamp. Let's go with 2 for a Felwar Stone. And then how much is this to mutate? 5. I don't have 5 right now. I have 3. I'll have to go another turn. So this is 5, right? Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll mutate this on top of it. Whenever it mutates, I gain 2 life. And I put 2 +1/+1 counters? A +1/+1 counter. So let's make this a 4/4. And then because of Trumpeting Gnar, I also get a beast, a 3/3 beast. Which should be helpful. Let's do something simple. That's 2 and a green for a Spawn Wraith. And then I think I would pass. I have an okay board. I would do, I don't know why I didn't do this before. I'd rob last turn pretend that last turn I fucking Rot Farmed and returned an island instead. And then I'll play an island. Okay, so this is what my hand is. That costs a decent amount, which is helpful. Oh, I'll do it that. What, 2, 3. Green, that's 2, 3 and a green. Glowstone Reckless on this, which puts 2 +1/+1 counters on it first of all. So a set power toughness. So it becomes a 4/5 with reach. And then because of this, so it's a 4/5 trample reach. And then I get a copy. So I'm gonna go to add token. Add a copy. And we're gonna This is tough. I don't know how to make this work, so I'm just gonna say that to show that it's this. I don't know another way to do it. That doesn't count as mutating again. So, in addition, it also gets a +1/+1 counter, and I gain 2 life. So we're gonna go for a 5/6, which means this is a 5/6 too. That's pretty okay for early on, or semi-early on. It took a few turns, because I think no matter what I do, this deck is going to be slow. But as we always say, there should be a restart. Yep, there's a restart button. I just realized this entire time the video was not capturing my cursor. I hope that doesn't matter. I don't think it does. But I have to remember to fix that for next time. We'll draw. We can't do anything first turn anyway. So we'll do this and enters the battlefield tapped. And we're good. I'll draw. Can I do anything this turn? Yes. No, I can't actually. I'll put a Crumbling Necropolis on the field tapped. And then end. Pass, whatever you want to call it. Forest. 1 and a, green for him. Okay. This costs, or commander costs 5 mana, which is an issue with the deck, but it's really slow. I might as well put out a Swifty Boots, because I can't do much else right now. And then I would pass. The deck's very slow. That's an issue with it. This, something I forgot to mention about this is that it's forced. You have to do it. So if I did this right now, I would have to pop one of my lands. So that's difficult. Let's go with 4 and a black. So 1, 2, 3. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and a black to put Mind Leech on top of it, which puts a +1/+1 counter on it. So we'll do that and make it a 6/6. Oops. Set power toughness 6/6, and we gain 2 life. And then I would pass next turn. Okay, that's nice. I'm gonna play a swamp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring out Jegantha. Is that a 1? Yes, it is. I'll tap 1 and equip it with the boots. How a Ulk is wearing boots, I don't know. But now it has hexproof and haste. Because of that, I can tap, add 1 mana of each color, and do nothing with it because I'm an idiot. Because I forgot this costs 2 and 1 of each color. I'll pass. What does this one do again? That doesn't do anything right now. Let's do it. 1 red. That's red. That's white. I don't have a way to do blue, so I actually can't do Joda right now. I'm sure they'll have something out. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in a green, 3 in a green. Oops. 3 in a green to mutate this on top of above it, yeah, which puts a +1/+1 counter on it. I think that's a smart thing, because it would be a 7/7 either way. And then I would pop one of their things and give them a beast token. We'll go one more turn to test it out. Oh, so I'll do blue, blue, red, red, white. That is white, right? Yeah, red, white, blue. For Joda. Tap you. Play into the coalition. Choose 5. Okay. That's tough. I'll draw 2 cards. That'll be 2. I could draw 5 cards. I'll draw 4 cards and destroy a hypothetical enchantment that they have. And then I'd tap a 1 and play Mysterious Egg. And I can almost do this, but I can't. So, that'll be good. Okay, so this is a pretty good thing. This is pretty good so far. I like it. I think that's enough testing. I just pressed back to leave, right? Yeah. I didn't realize that my cursor wasn't showing, but I hope that's not an issue. So that's Jegantha. It's really slow. I know this for a fact. It takes like 4 turns to get going. But once it gets going, you can make some crazy shit. Like that last game, Horde or whatever. All of my spells, I cast 1 free spell each turn. My Jegantha had hexproof. I had a decent stack of things. I drew Glowstone Recluse so I can make things even bigger. Haste doesn't matter. Like Summoning Sickness doesn't affect Mutate. I don't know if I said that before, but it doesn't. So that's cool. I really like the deck. It's really fun, and the cool thing is how editable, I guess the word is, this is. But that's kind of the worst thing too. Because at any point you could find like 7 more good cards that you want to add, but you don't have room for. So that sucks, but I mean, that's a good problem to have, is that there's too many good cards to add. Your Mutate deck could look entirely different from mine. As opposed to something like Gitrog, we're going to have mostly the same deck. There's going to be changes for pet cards and stuff. It's going to mostly be the same. I think it's a good deck. I wanted to do more crazy shit with it, but I think instead I decided to go for practicality over fun, over like funny. But hey, I'm gonna make a Planeswalker, a fucking Mutate stack, and then no one can stop me. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this made okay background noise while you do stuff in the background, like homework or something. And if you have any edits to the deck, you can let me know, and I'll put them in. I'll edit them, I guess. If you have any suggestions or something to make this cooler, I want this to be something we can do together for fun, or like work together on, I guess. A link to this deck list will be in the description, as also my Let's Play channel, my Twitter, and my Blue Sky will also be in the description, and I think that's everything. If you guys have suggestions for decks that I can make, that'd be cool. In terms of what I want to do next, or what I plan on doing next, I won an Aragorn deck. The Aragorn Precon. Not the Aragorn Precon. The Precon with Aragorn in it, but he's not like the cover card or anything. In a giveaway. And I kind of want to make Red, White, Blue Monarchy. With slight legendary matters. So I might do that next. Maybe not. But it'll work. So see you guys later. And I hope you guys have a nice evening. I wanted to get this out on Christmas as a Christmas present, but shit came up, and I had to record other stuff, so... Have a nice holiday, and Happy New Year, guys.